How's everybody doing out there? This is the Black Effect, the real Black Effect. You know, and I want to talk to my people, man. We can't have it both ways. What do I mean by that? We can't have it both ways as far as in taking ownership of the things of our culture and not taking ownership for the bad things that we have done to ourselves that our culture has caused, or I would say so-called Black American culture, because Black American culture is something unique in its own right. It's a hybrid and an amalgam of a lot of things, but we can trace history. Like, our history was stolen from us. So most Black Americans, FBA, I'm gonna say FBA just to go ahead and make it simple and break it down in simple terms. I think that's the best description to describe Black American, foundational Black Americans. That's those of us who were born over here and descendants of slaves. That's who I'm speaking of. So that culture, and we know that one of the things we could pinpoint that Black Americans have created, that's hip hop. So we need to get a truthful basis to be able to move forward and stop muddying up the language and speaking in these codes. You can't do all of that in order to move forward, with your people. You got to speak plain to your people, because Black people, foundational Black Americans, need all of the help that we can get. We need all of our people to get on one accord. That's why when I preach this stuff and talk about Black unity and stuff, people say, "Oh, we ain't no monolith, we ain't all this." That's them coons. Get the coons out of here. You know what I'm saying? I understand that every Black person is an individual, but all FBA Black people have, our FBA Americans, we have something in common. Like, we have a lot of things in common, and we have common goals that can benefit us all. This is pretty simple, cut and dry at this point. And we've pinpointed people. Like, I seen videos like my partner Red Supreme. There's been numerous videos done on this. About now, we've pinpointed that it was Black Americans who created rap and hip hop, and we share that culture around the world. This is true now. We've shared for good or bad. We've also shared our lingo, our language, style. Like, right now, the style in America has been, look at, no matter what color the person is, look at the more of the influence that you see in fashion, it comes from FBA. Yeah, that it comes from the FBA, brothers and sisters. That's where fashion is being shaped from right now. Like, and we do control that. Like, if we was to, and I'm saying, if Black people to what FBA people were to be like, I'm not with that as far as fashion, or reject it, don't buy. Don't get me wrong, you'll still have some people who sticking with their culture. Like, they'll buy the high end fashion that they offer, or but for the most part, if you see somebody in this FBA wearing it that's popular or in the Black culture, then it'll be popular around the world, or it'll be popular in America and then go around the world. That's what happened. So with fashion, hip hop, the way we talk, and entertainment, sports. Like, so things like, when I say basketball and football, we didn't create that, of course, but we influence it. We have heavy influence on it. But again, what is the Black culture? What does it consist of? And so culture is the customs, arts, social institutions, and achievements of a particular social group or nation. So, what are the customs of FBA Americans? We have Juneteenth, which a lot of black people don't even celebrate, but we know what it stands for. So that's a custom. You could say cookouts and barbecues, but that's also something that's shared, by other people. But it's just the way that you act in those. And so you could say that it's a custom for blacks to get together and do stuff like watch do I'll say this, like, it's a custom for like people to get together in a certain part of town and just watch dudes run up and drive up and down the street in nice cars. That was a custom. It was a custom called the Kappa Beach Party. It used to be a custom like that, where a lot of black women and men will get together. Hip hop rappers will come from Houston and things like that. And they will basically just be out there half naked, shaking butt, dudes touching on them. Dudes would just be grabbing women booties, hollering at women. That was a custom as well. But it's also, that brings me to the point, you can't have it both ways. Though that's one of our customs, you can consider that to be good or bad. But also within that, it's a custom when those events happen and black people get together for somebody to get hurt. That's a bad thing that comes from the custom of our culture. We have to accept that. If we accept that, then we can correct the problem. First of all, you have to understand that when you get in, we've corrected we're trying to correct the problem of one of those problems of the Kappa Beach Party was dudes just being super thirsty, touching on women, But at the time, women was twerking and coming there and they knew what they were coming there to do. They knew guys were gonna do that. And they came there still. But that doesn't make it good. We have to have higher minds and people who are FBA as well, who've lived through this, who have wisdom to give you to be able to deter the negative effects of the culture, because those negative effects resonate loudly around the world. And that's what you have these stereotypes that black people get, that FBA gets from other groups of people, not just white people. They get that from other ethnicities as well, even other black people like Africans and blacks around the world. They look at FBA for for a lot of the negative traits. But what I'm saying is that we're going to pinpoint the things that we have done positively, the things that we own, and the things that we own, and the things that we need to keep. So if we're going to gatekeep, we have to throw out all of the poison. We can't mix the poison with the pure water and expect to get and expect everybody to be healthy and expect to everybody to have pure water. It's going to poison the whole system. Do you understand? We can't be talking about free this person and free murderers. Oh, no. Yes, throughout in one of the products of black culture is hypermasculinity. Hypermasculinity has protected black men from the gay agenda, from the homosexual agenda that's been pushed. You still have some black men that slip through the cracks of that. But for those men who are it's the hip hop culture. Hip hop culture is what protects men from that, black men from that mentality and that programming. Hip hop culture and hyper masculinity is what allows black men to override the agenda that's being placed on American males and young boys and things like that. They allows their young males to override that. You understand? That that agenda that's being pushed. So that is a good thing that comes from that, from FB. That's something that comes from our true culture. African culture is not down with homosexuality. They don't get behind that. And honestly, in Africa, in some African countries, that's punishable by death. Like, you have punishments for being homosexual. So that's actually part of our deeper rooted culture that we've still adopted and kept, but it's starting to dwindle, and it comes with us compromising ourselves, compromising for money. The women compromised. The women, we like, when it comes to women in hip hop, we can't have try to have Kendrick Lamar be the king of hip hop and in the male side, and we talking about we want to bring gatekeep it and bring more positivity to hip hop. We don't want to, like, womanizing is bad. We don't want men talking about that. We don't want men promoting all this killing and drilling and thugging and bugging. That's been one of the most detrimental things to our community. We can't say that we want that done away with and then support people like the women that's coming out with all this music. I don't even have to name. I don't want to even pinpoint them, because all of them, every one of them that's on right now, that's promoted, every single one of them. You promoting destruction, promiscuity, single motherhood, shake your butt at the first instance of when you see somebody. That's how you greet them. This promotes you promoting failed marriages. Women using how you gonna promote black unity and you don't promote unity within the black family? How you gonna try to promote the black man doing better, but then you getting behind the agenda promoting the division of the black family? FBAs ain't gonna, until we fix our problems internally and within, we never gonna be able to go try to demand nothing, from these other groups or nothing like that. But I understand that we are trying to, there is a group of us who are waking up, trying to move forward and want to get what's owed to us, the reparations, all the things that we are owed. Want to actually truly gatekeep hip hop like it used to be. It used to be that you couldn't even get into it if you could. We did gatekeep it. You couldn't get into it if you wasn't authentic. You couldn't get into it if you couldn't actually rap. If you couldn't rap, you couldn't even go and come get into the game. No matter, and it definitely was gatekept for FBAs. If you were white, you had to be exceptional. You had to be authentic, co-signed, and you had to be exceptional. If you was Hispanic, you only had a few popular Hispanic rappers. Fat Joe was like one of the only ones for the longest. And that's because it was gatekept. But look at what was going on at that time. You had rappers coming out promoting and glorifying to young boys and to young FBA boys who didn't have many father figures due to whatever reasoning. We all know white supremacy had a hand in some of that. But due to whatever reasons, you had people like your Snoop Dogg's, your Jeezys, all of these people talking about just promoting album after album after video after video, promoting just straight up nigga shit, promoting us being some of the worst doing some of the worst, go to jail, selling my community dope, selling my community poison. I don't really care about them. I'm using them to get to a certain level. Where are you using them to get to? Oh, to around the white folks? Like what? What are you talking about? If that's the case, then then black communities could be built up. You got people who got millions, black people who got millions. Like, they could come build up the community. But these people don't want to be these people don't even like other black people. Look at the black manosphere. Them niggas can't even get along. We can't even get on one accord over YouTube. And dudes, like, we have similar talking points. Dudes should be building in each city, like really linking up if we want to do something. So we can't have it both ways. I don't want to hear a bunch of talk. You know, I don't want to hear a bunch of lip service anymore. Lip service is done with. Like, it's time for action. And we can't have it both ways. So if we're gonna gatekeep the culture and things, it's time to clean it up. Because the image that hip hop has produced for blacks around the world, yes, we own it. If we want to say we own it and we created it, then we have to be responsible for its influence that is not only put on our people across the world, but the influence that is done in our communities to our children. You know, has that been a total positive influence? Just tell me. People dying behind that to the soundtrack of Young Dolph, is that positive to you? Young people like FBG Duck, mama losing, you know, him losing his life, his mama losing multiple children in this same cycle of violence and gang banging. Is that positive to you? Like, come on now. So I want to see us do good, but we can't have it both ways. So with that being said, it's the real Black Effect, the real one. I'm gone.